Okay, good afternoon everybody. We got the best seat in the house, bar's right there. Our session gets too boring, just go get a drink. So, my name is Todd Baginski. I'm a Microsoft MVP. My company is called Canviz. I work with Burke here a lot. Casey works for Microsoft. He's on the PowerApps team. And today we are going to show you a session about how to build PowerApps with IoT data and how to use Microsoft Azure to bring in that data and then visualize it inside of the PowerApp. The data set we're working with, Microsoft collected in Beijing over 100,000 taxis with real data driving around Beijing. So we have that data set and we wrote a little application that's going to feed it into an Azure IoT event hub to pretend that these taxis are actually driving around right now. So this is my Visual Studio app here. And again, as Casey mentioned, every bit of this code that you see right now, we're putting it together in a nice installer package, installation instructions. You can stand this up in your own environment, no problem. So I'm just going to hit play on my console app here. And really all this thing is doing is reading from text files of all this taxi telemetry data, and it's putting it into an Azure IoT event hub. There's a few different things happening in Azure which I'll loop back to later. But at the end of the day, what's happening is you can see in my Azure Storage Explorer on the right, I'm getting data already going through the IoT event hub. It's eventually landing in the table storage table. Here you see in Azure. So I have some records. I can refresh again. You see I have even more records in there now. So I'm just going to let that spin the entire time of the demo and feed us some taxi data.
Okay, so a couple features of the app here. So you can see these are all the different taxis I have listed by number. So the ones in green mean that they're perfectly healthy. We're tracking service health for the taxis right now, reading the IoT data off. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features on this map here. So we can go ahead and turn this toggle on. You can actually see the aerial view. We can also turn this on here, get an overlay of the traffic. With live data, well, live for our demo, but in real life it could be live data. And we can see the taxi cabs actually plotted on the map here. Then we also have zoom in, zoom out, so you can get a different angle of what's going on around Beijing. And then we have this pan option we built into the map as well, so you can pan left or right on the app. Okay, so you can see here, the orange label means that we're getting close to service. So we're tracking oil changes, and the thresholds we set up is that at 4,000 miles, it's going to give us a warning and say you need to go in for an oil change soon. Now red means you're past the threshold. It means you need to get scheduled for immediate service. If you can see here, I can actually click on this, and it gives me actually a picture zoomed in of where he's at on the map, as well as his longitude and latitude, and the distance that he has traveled since the last oil change. And you can tell what's kind of cool too is actually on this zoomed in picture, you can see pinpoint moving around on the app. So it's not even just a static image. And you can see here, these emails are starting to come in. So I'm the service maintenance manager, and I'm starting to see that, okay, this one is actually accumulated 3557, or sorry, this is running at 6 times speed, so it's going pretty quick here. 14,000 miles, so he is way past due. And we better get him scheduled immediately, because he's past that 4,000 mile threshold. And you can see, we come up here, we can take a look at the other taxis as well. Get that accurate picture of what's happening with your fleet. So Todd's going to take you back now and dive into how this app was built. He's going to dive into some of the Azure components, and then eventually get into how we surface that data back inside the PowerApp.
Okay, thanks Casey. So as you can see, we've got a few different things going on from the IoT point of view. We have data going into the system. We have automatic notifications reacting to the data going in inside of Azure and shooting emails when taxis cross a certain threshold. And then we also have all the capabilities back here inside of the PowerApp where we can visualize where our fleet is and the current status of everything. We also have another capability inside of here where the maintenance manager, in addition to tracking the status of his fleet, when he does maintenance to his fleet, he can come in here right inside of the Power App. And before I do this, go back and take a look at the taxi for me. You can see my distance is 5,699 miles. Now, that's miles traveled since I started this. As Casey mentioned, we sped this up 6 times. In fact, how fast the data's coming in, so you can watch it move. A lot of these taxis sit still for a while. So that's a lot of miles in a short time. But look, I'm almost at 6,000 miles. So if I change the oil on this guy, and say I just changed him at around 5,800 miles and save it, I've just written that data back to my system, and now you can see that the indicator for the taxi 1131 I'm driving is green again. And so there's also capabilities in here, not just to visualize and look at data, but actually interact with the things you're doing IoT with. So how did we build this whole thing and get it to go front to back? And what might this architecture look like if you're doing a Power App with IoT? So as I mentioned, all my data in this demo starts in these taxi data files you see on the left. The data files get sent from my console application to the Azure IoT Event Hub. 2 things happen at that point. First, we have an Azure function that's triggering every single time something gets written to that Event Hub. That function is going to look up the last time that data was changed from that Azure storage table I wrote that to, and it's going to then make a comparison on how much miles it drove right now, and if that threshold is exceeded, it calls the Logic app to send email. And the Logic app uses the Office API connection, Office 365, so it can connect to Outlook and send that email. Now, to get it into the Power App, we use Stream Analytics. Stream Analytics is a component in Azure, and it is listening to what's coming in on the IoT Event Hub. I can tell Stream Analytics to do a select on a query, so I only put certain data in certain buckets in Azure. In this example, I say everything that comes into the Event Hub, I want you to write that data to this taxi data table storage. Remember at the beginning when I showed you the Azure table storage explorer and I refreshed it and we saw data going in? That's that table right there. We also have another function that is returning the taxi data to my Power App. So how did I connect my ability to read the last oil change, set the last oil change, or just get me the current data that's coming out of my IoT devices? We created what's called a custom connector. A custom connector allows you to use the Swagger file to create an API connection to any API you've got. In this case, we connected the custom connector to the function in Azure that's just giving me the latest item for each taxi from table storage.
Okay, so one of the key components of that is he showed you an Azure function, and there's a Swagger API definition file for that with capability to automatically generate it. It's still in preview, so not foolproof at the moment, but you can go ahead and tweak that, and that's what gives you the capability to, through your custom connector, you can use Excel-like functions to actually pull that data back into your Power App. So what's really cool about that is you don't have to be a developer to do that part. Once you start it up and you have the connector, business users can actually just write Excel-like functions and read and write from the data. All right, thanks so much everyone for coming out. Like we said, Todd's going to be posting the code for this, so keep an eye. Todd, you're going to distribute that. Just keep an eye on Twitter, or how are you going to get that out to people?
Yeah, well, I'll definitely put it out on Twitter. You can see my handle there if you want to follow me there. Or if you'd like to come up and get a card, shoot me an email and say, Todd, tell me when it's live. I'd be happy to make a note and shoot you an email and let you know. But we're designing it to be very simple to install. Minimal path to awesome is what we're shooting for. Thanks everybody for coming up.